Which cryptocurrency is being attacked by the SEC after XRP? How long will crypto holders believe in Ripple? How much will XRP cost in mid-2020? 3. We will answer all these questions in today's A new development in the SEC's action against Ripple, a blockchain company, has the potential to dramatically affect the ultimate result as the cryptocurrency world awaits the summary judgment. The SEC's expert has stated that changes in the values of Bitcoin and Ethereum have been responsible for up to 90s of swings in the price of XRP since mid-2018, as reported by lawyer Bill Morgan in a tweet on April 7. He hypothesized that if the SEC's premise about its experts' knowledge is correct, it may mean that Ripple is allowing the value of XRP to be affected by the swings in the value of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Therefore, the SEC tries to prove the claim by providing proof that XRP's value is affected by Ripple's price announcements. Morgan's point is bolstered by the fact that the value of Bitcoin affects the value of most cryptocurrencies. Morgan also noted that the view that XRP is a security and that Ripple's large XRP holdings imply centralization of the XRP ledger remains. Importantly, the SEC is suing Ripple for offering XRP coins for sale without first registering them as securities. Ripple is seeking to defend itself by having the regulator's remarks from a lecture he gave in which he referred to Bitcoin and Ethereum as securities unsealed. The SEC claims that investors are counting on Ripple's legal efforts to succeed, and Morgan agrees. The lawyer further clarified that investors do not expect Ripple's commercial activities to earn profits from XRP, but rather on the company's legal efforts to emerge triumphant in the SEC litigation. Contrary to what the SEC believes, Ripple's legal efforts defeating the SEC's lawsuit, should it be successful, mean that investors were right to put faith in the company? Jeremy Hogan, another advocate of XRP, used Morgan's comments to forecast a surprising verdict in the case. Since even the SEC acknowledges that Ripple's activities after mid-2018 had no effect on the token's value, Hogan hypothesized that if the presiding judge opted to split the baby, she might determine that XRP sales after mid-2018 were not securities. Even the SEC admits that Ripple's activities have had essentially no influence on XRP's price since mid-2018. Thus, the judge, in the Ripple case, if she wanted to split the baby, that's a dreadful expression, isn't it? May decide that sales of XRP since then were not securities. Hogan said that the verdict might have far-reaching consequences, including the possibility that Ripple would have to pay a fee just to keep doing business as usual. As the sole cryptocurrency with a well-defined legal position, Hogan pointed out that XRP may have an impact on how other digital assets are treated by exchanges. Meanwhile, the timing of the summary judgment remains a matter of conjecture. The first estimated timing for the lawsuit verdict was the first quarter of 2023, according to some legal experts. The overall value of XRP and the cryptocurrency market might be affected by the verdict in this case. XRP is up around 1 on the week, trading at 51 cents right now. Judge Annalisa Torres has been asked by many members of the XRP community on Twitter why she has not yet issued a judgment in the case between Ripple and the SEC. Many Ripple and XRP supporters anticipated the judge's verdict to arrive before the end of last month, as had been predicted by pro-XRP lawyer James Fallon. Nevertheless, this did not occur, prompting speculation regarding the reason for the holdup. A video clip featuring CryptoLaw CEO and attorney John Deaton answering questions from the XRP community has gone viral. In it, Deaton explains why the case's summary judgment has been delayed by Judge Torres. Attorney Deaton claims that Judge Torres is being patient because she knows how important this case is and wants to make sure she makes the proper decision. He speculated that the strain Judge Torres has been under during the Ripple litigation, particularly from the blockchain business, is unprecedented in her whole career. I really doubt that Judge Torres has ever been under as much stress as she is right now. Judge, this is a message Ripple. St. Deaton was cited as stating, "Look at what the judge said in Voyager. Look at what the Supreme Court ruled on fair notice. Look at what the SEC has done. Look at Binance. Look at the Keftic." He said these events are occurring at a time when he and others have said the crypto business in the U.S. would get regulatory certainty as a result of her ruling in the case. He reaffirmed that the pending litigation between Ripple and the SEC is the most important non-fraud SEC enforcement action since 1946, when the Hawaii case was decided. Deaton noted that he does not hold Judge Torres responsible for the rate at which she makes her judgment. According to Deaton, Judge Torres is under a lot of pressure because if she rules against Ripple, the blockchain business would appeal to a higher court. He also said the judge would have to provide an explanation for her decision to rule in favor of Ripple on summary judgment. He said, "With that type of pressure, I don't blame Judge Torres for being extremely cautious on how she works on this judgment, because if it goes against Ripple, she knows it's going up to a conservative court. And if it is for Ripple, she has to defend it." Moreover, Attorney Deaton advised the XRP community to be patient as the verdict is not as simple as many believe it to be. Deaton's latest comment follows a few days in which he speculated that Judge Torres may take up to 2 months to decide on the complaint. Judge Torres' summary judgment often occurs a few months after she has decided on the Dobert motions, according to Deaton, who represents thousands of XRP holders in the lawsuit as a Misai Curia. Friend of the court, Deaton based his March 31 statement on this information, saying the decision may take up to 60 days. Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple Labs, has spoken out against the chairman of the United States. Gary Gensler of the SEC has been criticized for defining some crypto tokens as securities. Thursday, Garlinghouse tweeted, "It's incomprehensible that the chair of the SEC would claim that he, and not the statute from which his agency draws its jurisdiction, determines what constitutes a security. Politicians in the United States need to take this seriously. Why would you ever want to offer clarity about what's in or out when you act like an authoritarian overseeing a $2.02 be bloated agency?" Garlinghouse warned against assuming authority from gray areas of responsibility. In response to Gensler's assertion that existing securities laws cover most of the activity that's happening in the crypto markets, Ripple's executive said not to undermine inadvertently through definitions of what's in or out, or in essence allowing for conflicts that we don't allow. Gensler is the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Several of the proposed legislative vehicles, if enacted, would weaken the securities mandate, in my opinion. Since December 2020, when the SEC first sued Ripple, Garlinghouse and co-founder Chris Larson, the business has been in the middle of a legal battle with the securities regulator. Ripple and Garlinghouse have maintained their stance that XRP is not a security, despite the SEC's claims to the contrary. The necessity of Bitcoin exchanges and lending platforms coming in to discuss SEC compliance is something Gensler has brought up on several times. But Garlinghouse has claimed that the securities regulator is just meeting with cryptocurrency firms to gather information for its enforcement division. Companies operating in the cryptocurrency area have voiced concerns that it is difficult to assure compliance since the SEC does not give clear regulatory requirements. The SEC recently issued a Wells notice to Coinbase, a cryptocurrency exchange listed on the Nasdaq, alleging possible breaches of the securities law. The SEC will not allow crypto firms come in and register. "We tried," the firm said in response. Nevertheless, Gensler has maintained that all crypto tokens other than Bitcoin are securities.